What is up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new video. Today, we're going to be talking about the Ultra Mont Blanc with the BOA system. Now, spoiler alert, this is going to be a quick review because I absolutely hate these. If I could shoot these out of a cannon, take out a shotgun, shoot them in the midair, and then run over to their dead freaking bodies, set them on fire, and then piss on that pile of ash, I absolutely would. But I spent $210 on these, so I might as well use them for yard work and put them on the shelf because they are a pretty shoe. It's a very beautiful shoe, but for me, for my purposes and how they fit on my feet, I would love to cannon these this on their ashes just because I've had such bad luck with these shoes. So, of course, this review is going to be completely biased. I mean, this is all my personal, gripes with the shoe. So definitely take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm sure if your foot is shaped differently or you run differently, you have a different gait, this shoe could work for you because it does have a lot of potential. So let's jump right into it and let's go into our first category, which is fit and feel. When I first put on these shoes, I absolutely loved how they felt. They basically took the Mont Blanc that had really, really bad heel slipping, and then this BOA system kind of cut that out. So you have this really fine crank system that pulls your foot back into the heel cup, and then it locks down your midfoot with this top crank system. So it was a really good feel. It's really light. Even when you're springing off, it has like really good energy return. So it's a really fast feeling shoe, even on the trails. So I absolutely loved how it felt. It felt like it was fast, felt like it was light, and it felt like it was really locked down on my foot. So I was very, very, very excited about these shoes when I first put them on. So fit and feel for the first 7 miles, I would give these probably like a 4.5 or 4.5 out of 5. But then on the later miles, like after 7 miles, after 10 miles, when your feet get sweaty, or if you step into a pond, they don't have that good of drainage and they feel heavy. And then the energy return feels a little bit too hard for your feet. So on the really longer miles, it feels like you're kind of having a little bit more impact that you actually want. I would have to give these shoes probably a 2.5 because it is so bad after like 7 to 10 miles in these shoes. So I'm going to give these a 2.5 for fit and feel just because they felt so crappy after about 7 to 10 miles. And if you're wearing ultras, you're probably in the ultra marathon kind of realm or a longer trail running realm, especially if you're buying these shoes just because they're so expensive. So you need a shoe that will feel good for those later miles also, not only those really quick miles. So that's why it kind of lands in that 2.5 category. So let's move on to category number 2, and that's usability. And this is where the shoe absolutely falls apart. I mean, from the look of it and how it feels, it's light, from the look of it, it's light, it's fast, and the grip is really good. I mean, I've had no problems with traction with this shoe, and I could go up and down. I could get a really good bite in the actual trail, and I could move down the trail really fast. It's just when it gets to that 7 miles or 10 miles, it just completely eats apart the arch of my foot to the point where it literally rubbed a hole in my foot at mile 7, yeah, about mile 7 to mile 10 of the last 50K that I actually did. So it tore a hole in the actual sock and then ripped into my skin to the point where I had to switch my socks and just limp my way pretty much 23 miles the rest of the 50K. I got it done. It sucked and my feet felt like crap, but it was all thanks to the shoe. I thought it was a I thought it was just like a fluke or something like that. So I kept wearing them for training runs. And then when I went for another long run that was supposed to be about 20 miles, right at 7 miles again, same thing started to happen. And I caught it before it actually started ripping a hole in my foot. So I just walked back. I had to walk back freaking 3 miles back into my house just because I didn't want another hole in the arch of my foot and ruin my training for like a week or a week and a half for a hole to actually repair on the arch of my foot just because it's such an awkward place to actually get an injury. So these shoes can absolutely suck it. I mean, if you're running like 5 miles on the trail and you're just trying to go really fast, then you could definitely use these shoes. I bet if you had a really high arch or a very narrow foot, this shoe would be perfect for you if you're a really fast runner. This shoe would work really well, but my feet are weirdly shaped. They're like kind of like rectangles. They're kind of rectangles. So this shoe absolutely did not work for me, and it just completely destroyed my foot. So for usability, I mean, I'm going to give this a 1 out of 5, just because you would have to have a very specific foot to make this shoe work, or at least in my case, for my own personal bias, it absolutely does not work for my body, my gait, and my foot style. So I'm going to give it a 1.5, a 1. So I'm going to give it a 1 out of 5 off of the usability scale. So let's move on to our last and final category, and that's durability. And surprisingly, this shoe seems to be pretty darn durable. I mean, I ran a 50K and then I ran a bunch of training runs in it. I probably have 150 miles in the phone, and there's no visible tearing. The stitching is still stitched up. These BOA systems are still really working pretty well. I completely got these shoes like fully wet and submerged in water, and there was no issue with them. The tread on the bottom still has some life to it, so there's no real big breakdown for durability on this. And typically with Ultra shoes, I can really start seeing the wear in the shoes around 150 to 200 miles. Some of the like Riveras, I've actually can start breaking them down around 100 miles. But the Olympus and the Vanish Tempos, those have been lasting around 300 to 400 miles. So I could definitely see you getting about 300 to 400 miles. You might not have the same like energy return from the actual midsole, but as far as the shoe actually ripping apart and coming apart, I don't see a really big issue on the shoe like actually falling apart for people, because it has held up pretty well. So for durability, I would probably give this shoe a 4.5 out of 5, just because, there's no visible actual damage to this shoe, and I have been pretty rough on this shoe. So there you have it. That was our categories. So there you have it. That was our 3 categories. Fit and feel, it got a 2.5 out of 5, just because it feels really great when you first put it on for those first couple miles, and then after that they just absolutely fall apart. Same thing with the usability, a 1 out of 5, just because I literally can't use the shoe because it rips a hole into my arch. And then for durability, that's its best score, 4.5 out of 5. This has 150 miles on it, about 150 miles on it, and there's no visible damage or visible tearing or stitching coming loose on the shoe. So there you have it. That was the full review for the Ultra Mont Blanc BOA system. It got an 8 out of 15, just because this shoe absolutely does not work for my foot. Now, once again, this is a completely biased like review. This is because it absolutely did not work for my foot or my gait or whatever it may have been. It just absolutely did not work for me. So it just got a low score for that. I'm sure if you have a much more narrow foot and you're a really fast runner, these shoes would be absolutely awesome for you, and you could burn up the trail with them because they have a lot of potential. It's just, for me, the Mont Blanc BOA systems absolutely did not work for me. So let me know what you guys think about the Mont Blancs with the BOA system. If you guys have tried them out, if you ran into the same problems as I did, or if I just have an absolutely strange shaped foot that just destroys, cool, awesome space technology shoes that I wish I could wear, but I absolutely can't. So let me know what you think about it. Make sure you guys are getting out there, kicking some ass, chipping away, becoming an average savage. Let's go. Let's get it.